Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of this lecture on step 1. And in this section we're going to look at unmanageability, real observable evidence of our powerlessness. So the last video we looked at how powerless we are. We looked at the paradox of powerlessness, that despite being powerless, it's a very powerful space. It's a very powerful energy. The obsession, the compulsion, full of power. Unmanageability now is the second one of the 3 things I highlighted in the primer. 3 things you got to prove to yourself on a deep and personal level. Powerlessness, we've looked at that, and hopefully we've helped you to understand how to do that, how to look at that dynamic within yourself. Now we're going to look at unmanageability. And that our lives have become unmanageable, exterior, outside, visible evidence of my loss of control. So there's a whole range of arenas that we can look at, that we can see evidence that the addiction is active and present. So it's kind of like an inventory. So I'm going to go through 10. There's more, but I think these are the 10 important dynamics, arenas, where you can take a self-assessment of yourself. What's the addiction doing to you in each one of these dynamics? How is the addiction affecting you mentally? Are you mentally diminished in some way? Is it causing you some kind of problems where you're struggling with your emotional space? Is it done damage? Your short-term memory, how is it affecting you mentally? Are you able to function mentally like you were before the addiction escalated? Emotionally, what's it doing to you emotionally? Are you able to self-regulate? Are you able to exercise impulse control? Or has it diminished you emotionally in many ways, where you can't do any of those things, where you take everything personally, where you can't see past your immediate feelings, your immediate emotions? So how's it impacted you emotionally? Relationally, big one. What's it done to you and your relationships? Has it improved your relationships? Has it brought you closer to people, or has it taken you away from people? Has it isolated you from people in your life? Are people avoiding you? Have they severed friendships or relationships with you because of the addiction, because of the behavior? Excuse me. Spiritually, what has it done to you spiritually? Did you have a faith before? Did you believe in a higher power? Did you go to church? Did you go to mosque? Did you have something? Did you have a high standard of right and wrong? So how has it diminished you spiritually? Has it taken away your ability to clearly see the difference between right and wrong? How many lines did you cross in your addiction? When you look back and you think about how low and how far this has taken you, how does it make you feel? What has it done to you spiritually? Socially, another area we can look at. Are you being invited to lots of parties? Are you being invited to people's homes? Is your social life better? Has it improved? because of the addiction? Or is it the opposite? Nobody invites you. People avoid you. This is a tricky one because initially you might have gotten chemical courage. I know that certainly was a dynamic for me when I started using it. It made me the life of the party. It gave me the confidence to approach girls. It gave me the confidence to do a lot of things. False and chemical confidence. So it may have seemed like it was a good thing for you socially initially, but now it's the opposite. Financially, how's it impacted you financially? Is it costing you more than money? Are you finding yourself in debt? Are you finding yourself selling your belongings? Are you finding yourself borrowing money from people with no real intention of paying it back? Are you finding yourself stealing? Are you finding yourself losing jobs, not being able to hold a job down? How is it impacting you financially? Professionally, how are you performing at work? Are you able to stay at work? Are you able to keep that job? Or are you slowly losing credibility and respect? People are afraid of you. Maybe there's been a slow erosion and compromise of your integrity and how you started work, or how you started your professional life, where you had credibility and people respected you and you were known for your integrity, that those things have slowly eroded away, where you're getting written warnings or being fired or maybe even going so far as stealing from your company or your work in some way. How's it affected you professionally? Legally, how's this thing impacted you legally? Are you getting arrested? Are you driving under the influence? Are you accumulating DUIs? Is that what you call them? Driving under the influence. Yeah, DUIs. Or are you breaking the law in order to further your addiction? Most drugs are illicit and you have to break the law. Are you breaking the law in other ways? Are you stealing? Are you robbing? Are you breaking into cars, breaking into houses? What are you doing? How has this impacted you legally? And you can look at that, how it actually has impacted you legally, or the potential for it to have real legal consequences for you. So you might not have crossed the line into stealing or doing anything dramatically criminal, but you're driving under the influence. What's the potential of that? At best, at least, you get caught and you get given a fine and maybe you lose your license. At worst, you may have a horror smash and kill other people or run somebody over. How is your arrogance in play here, saying that, nah, I can get away with this? How's it affected you physically? Are you having health problems? Is it damaging your liver, your kidneys, your heart, your brain? Putting all these chemicals in your body all the time, day in and day out, is going to have a massive physical impact on you, and one that you're not going to see straight away. Usually when you start actually noticing and experiencing the physical complications, it's often very advanced already, and some of that damage is going to be irreversible. Cognitively, has it impaired your ability to think clearly with common sense? As somebody that works with others, cognitively, I need to be sharp all the time. I need to be able to listen to what people are saying, and I need to be able to process what they're saying and be able to read behind the lines and read the body language and interpret what's being communicated to me so that I can better help these people. So cognitively, the work I do is very high functioning. If I'm going to smoke crack regularly and start drinking regularly, it's going to damage that cognitive ability. It might even take away a significant portion of my cognitive ability. It can, and I've seen this working with people where the chemicals have done so much damage that they lose a lot of their cognitive function. So there's more. Make up a few of your own arenas to look at to help you to see how out of control you've actually become. Self-honesty here is really critical. You've got to be able to be really honest with yourself. It's bad. It's gotten this bad. Go through the list. Use your step work. Your step work will have some really good questions in this section of the step work. How unmanageable has your life become? Was it always like that? Or has it slowly become like that? 20 odd years into recovery, I can look at that list now and say I'm okay in all of them. I don't have any significant worries or problems in any of these arenas. And I can tell you with confidence and conviction that I had serious problems in all of these arenas when I was using. I couldn't successfully function in any one of these. So exterior, outside, visible evidence of my loss of control. This can help you to understand powerlessness. Three things that you've got to prove deeply and personally to yourself. Powerlessness, unmanageability, and insanity, which is coming up in step 2. When you do step work and you're looking at all these arenas, how has this affected me mentally, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, socially, financially, professionally, legally, physically, cognitively, and you can add a few more. Include personal examples. Get really honest. Dig deep and find personal examples, because it's within the personal examples that you're going to start to see it. The temptation is going to be big to answer this section of step work philosophically and intellectually, because it's going to be much easier than looking at each one of these arenas within your own life and finding examples of how much you are compromised, how much you have compromised yourself in each of these arenas. So spend some time here, unpack it properly, have a real deep look. An analogy that Colin made one time, which I really liked. You know, a boat or a ship, when it's sailing in the water, behind it leaves a wake that is unique to that boat. Well, when you turn around and you look at the wake of your life, what do you see? What's in that wake? How many broken, bruised people in there? How many shattered relationships? How many lost dreams are bobbing and floating away amongst the flotsam and jetsam in that wake? How much has it cost you? What has it taken away from you? What have you sold that was precious? What lines have you crossed that you swore you never would? Take time. Go through this. It's important. Hope that's a bit clearer. I'll see you in part 4, where we're going to look at the dynamic of abstinence. Just some thoughts on that. And I'll see you there. Thanks, guys.